Welcome back to Power Talks with Santosh Shah. We are in conversation with Mr. Yubaraj Ghimire, Nepal's leading journalist and political analyst. Last year, Constitution Assembly was formed. One of the major factors that triggered to the formation of Constitution Assembly, was to address the issues of Janjatis, Adivasis, marginalized groups like Madhesis and religious minorities. We don't see the Constitution Assembly sessions really focusing on their issues. Rather, it has become a space for the political leaders to find loopholes, to gain more power to themselves. And where do you see a space for the marginalized groups to voice forth their rights, not just from the streets, but through a peaceful and more intellectual way?
Well, that was the very composition of the Constituent Assembly is, yes, there are certain positive elements in terms of composition, in terms of representation of the people who were, left out so far and all that. But, in all this process, we never saw political parties serious. They didn't define the priorities. They haven't even formed the, State Restructuring Commission, which they promised long ago. And even before that happened, the Prime Minister and certain groups signed, an agreement about what should be a particular, let's say, for instance, Madhya state like. That was putting the cart, before the horse. So you first form the Constituent Assembly, State Restructuring Commission. You get political parties to define their position. You get the opinion of stakeholders and experts. Then, based on the recommendation of such a commission, these things should have been decided and approved after thorough debate in the Constituent Assembly. But so far, the process has not even begun. So it has created very serious doubt whether the Constitution writing would start at all, whether it will be finished within the stipulated, time frame, and whether other issues could be addressed altogether, because the political parties are not serious about it.
Last year, I met a CA member from MJF, whose husband was kidnapped from their house and is still missing. Recently, I also came to know a CA member from the UML, a young widow whose husband was brutally killed during the civil war. Until now, they have not been able to voice forth their opinion or ask about their lost husband in the CA Assembly. They have not been able to raise this severe issue of family loss, which is very important to them and to millions of families who have suffered from this issue. Despite the fact that CA Assembly has given 33% space to women, don't you feel that they are being used just for the sake of tokenization and decoration, and they're also used to vote for the interest of political leaders?
They are not being able to raise this issue is because the government, the present government and the past government led by J.P. Koirala, they were not serious and honest about about implementing the comprehensive press agreement, which plays that they would form that Truth and Reconciliation Commission to go into human rights violation cases, to get into the commission, to investigate the case of disappeared ones from both sides. So they haven't done anything. Now all that they're doing is putting the blame on the other side, whereas they are solely responsible for not implementing what they promised they will do.
In the present context, in the present situation, in the present crisis, the hope is lost. Younger generation no longer see hope and faith in the current leadership. How far have we pushed the country now? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years?
There is always a possibility of, pulling the country from the brink of disaster also. That has happened in the past also. But the point is, it's, when the citizens leave everything to the government, to some 7 or 8 leaders, and they think that, it's not our responsibility to get into that, let the country be managed and run by the politicians. That's not going to help. So obviously, citizens have to demonstrate their decisive power and role, which they do, and they do at the time of, they don't do it always, but at the time of crisis, they do it. This process of, so far we have seen only very bright students, youths, going abroad looking for opportunities for higher education and all that. Not only they, even the able-bodied people are leaving this country. So that's a dangerous trend. That's where I see that, country may lose all the opportunities that the presence of bright, academics, educated people, and able-bodied people together can do. That's a threat I'm seeing. Like might push the country in a situation which could be more damaging and dangerous than the country at some point of time, or in most occasions having incompetent leaders ruling the country.
If Nepal is to restore its long-forgotten peaceful image and progressive economy, how will that happen? Where is that magic key that will unlock the misery of Nepal?
I don't think there will be any shortcut or any magic which can bring that. For that, those who run the country have to have minimum honesty and efficiency and peace, of course. Unless you have this peace, nobody is going to come and invest here. Then you have to restore this power situation also, 12-hour power cut, no guarantee of investment, and a forced unionization, extortion. That's not going to, bring any hope about the economic recovery of the country at a time when, there is a global fear of recession.
Nepal is still in that dark part of the history where there is very little hope, especially with the present political crisis which came out in a very unnatural fashion. Yet we can just be hopeful that our future generation takes up leadership in a few years or in decades, and we are at least able to see a better future. Let's hope that the younger generation of Nepal will turn out to be the magic key for Nepal's progress and peace. With this hope, I wish you good luck and goodbye. See you next week, the same time. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being on the show. And as a culture of our program, we have a small gift for you. Decoration.